Hello and welcome to the 14th episode of OK Takes. My co-host Edward and I will provide you with some really awful takes, some really great takes that all even out to being just okay. Yeah, I'll say it. As of 5:08 p.m. West Coast time, Trea Turner has now replaced Manny Ramirez as the greatest midseason acquisition of my entire lifetime. The clips of him going from first to home these past two games are worthy of belonging in the spank bank. No question asked. That's it. That's where they belong. They are that good. So after some Trea Turner talk, Edward is going to deliver more reasons as to why Beuhler should win a Cy Young. And we are going to end this show on a bad note. One facet of the Dodgers is historically abysmal, but you guys will have to stick around till the end of the show to find out what exactly that is. Now it's time to talk some Trea Turner. So I rewatched The Last Dance recently, and there's been one question that's like hanging over my head like a cloud when watching sports. And I want to see your take on if Trea Turner, what he did in his debut, qualifies or answers this question with a yes. Will Trea Turner's debut matter 2 decades from now to someone who wasn't alive to see it in the first place? A la somebody like me, never got to watch Jordan, wasn't alive. 2 decades later, absolutely incredible and deserves all the praise, and I'm fascinated and love the Bulls now.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to answer that right now because it's just too early. But if Trea Turner is what it takes to turn this whirlwind of a season around and really put us back in the driver's seat and lead us to back-to-back titles, then we could possibly re-sign him after next year, and maybe he jumpstarts a dynasty that you could already make a case as a dynasty, but you need more rings to be a dynasty. So it's too early for me to say yes to that question, but I could very well see the answer being yes in the future.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a good point where, yes, this is already a really great team that should be remembered in history, and there should be a documentary about this team, but it's a 1-hour documentary. Trea Turner, in my opinion, could possibly bring one more or it could bring multiple rings. That now it takes 3 rings to be a dynasty. I think Trea Turner is at least beginning to push us in that direction. Without Trea Turner, with only Max Scherzer, I don't think Scherzer pushes us towards getting to that 3rd ring in dynasty territory. And if the Dodgers win and repeat, it will be the first time it's done since the Yankees when they won 3 rings from 1998 to 2000. So now let's talk what's actually going on the field and not doing classic narrative overreaction. But so in the box score when you look at it, the box score isn't crazy. But we're gonna dive into why this actually matters and why this gives us so much hope. Saturday night, 1 for 3 with the single, run, walk, stolen base. His 22nd stolen base on the year. Sunday, he went 1 for 3 with a leadoff double, a walk, 2 runs. And if you look at this alone, if you're just box score watching, like I said earlier, this isn't anything that you're like, what the fuck, what are you talking about? But then you actually watch the game and you see the impact he has and you see what he brings and the energy, and that is why. Saturday night, first at bat, first at bat of the game, leading off, he had a 3-2 walk, and his next batter up was Max Muncy. Muncy shot a ball in the gap, and Turner scored with ease. Turner literally hit home plate before the cutoff man even touched the ball. So for any other guy on the team, for Belli, for one of the Mookie when he's hurt, yeah, they make that. That's not that hard of an ask. But the fact that Turner flew in without even drawing a throw shows you how just incredible he was. And it was an instantaneous thing where every fan was like, holy shit, now this is a guy who could change games. Fast forward to Sunday, has a leadoff double and then scores on a Muncy single. I'm like, okay, yeah, he could smack the shit out of the ball too. The real kicker that left everybody blown away with was 3rd inning, AJ Pollock. So Turner reaches first on a walk. Trea Turner reaches first on a walk. That's going to be that's going to be everybody from now on is realizing we're just going to have to call him Trey. It's going to have to be Trey from now on. But yeah, reaches first with a walk, and then they're playing in the shift. They're shifting Pollock, forcing him to hit it the other way, and forcing Pollock to hit it away from the shortstop. He scoots a ball to the shortstop. It gets booted, and then Trey is off to the races. He scored from first, and granted he was stealing on it, but he scored from first on a fucking dribbler. And it wasn't even that close of a play at the plate. On that ground ball, Pollock had an exit velo of 75 miles an hour, and the expected batting average on that ball was 110. 110. Speed kills. And we're seeing that right in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, that was ridiculous. Like, when I watched it, and as soon as I saw it get past the infield, kind of into no man's land, the left fielder, I believe, Joe Adele, had to run a country mile to get to it. I was like, yeah, he's going to score. He's absolutely going to score. But, man, actually watching it and actually watching him turn on the Jets is a whole other thing than just expecting it. Like, actually seeing him do it in real time is like, wow, can this guy fly? And the crazy thing about yesterday's, the one where he scored from first, it looked like he wasn't even giving 100%. Like, he was not at his top speed. It didn't look like, to me at least. I was like, this guy looks like he still has another gear. And today he showed a little extra gear. He looked a little quicker today, but still, I was like, this guy, I feel like, has another gear. So, I mean, you're right. Like, electric is the only term I can use to describe what it's like to watch this guy.
Because I feel like adjectives are really become surface level, and you don't really get to soak in the greatness that's happening. The only way you could put it is in examples of other things going on in life, like movies. Whereas if this were like a movie scene, it would be like Quicksilver in the kitchen in X-Men, where he's trying to stop bullets that are being sent from cops, and in the middle of all this chaos, and literally bullets are being shot. Boom. He's running around the kitchen. He's changing direction of the bullets, so they miss Wolverine and everybody else that was with them. And in the process, he's making it look so effortless. He's going about this like he's just sauntering. He is sauntering around the kitchen, running up the walls. Yeah, just a nice little lick, and really soaking in the flavor of whatever that orange sauce was. And playing games as well, where he's taking one of the cops and one of their hats and throws it on himself. And it's just so effortless, and he just makes everybody around him look like Adam Sandler walked up to them with a remote control, pressed click, slow-mo.
Yep. And he honestly seems like he jolted some life into Pollock and some other guys, because right in that same, I believe it was still the first inning, Pollock and Justin Turner did a double steal. Like, are you kidding me? Like when were they ever doing that?
And that's huge as well, is how does he affect other guys on the team? And you're starting to see these guys are loving somebody who is flying all over the place. It's the intro from Rodeo Pornography, where T.I. is like living like a Bronco lifestyle, wild and untamed. That is Trea Turner, and it is contagious. Whereas this is only going to help other guys on the team. Now we look at Machado. The last time he had a big trade deadline acquisition, couldn't give less of a shit. Could not give less of a shit about what was going on. He's there for the ride. He's just there to hopefully cash in a ring and make buku money the next year. Trea Turner is going to will them in certain games to a win. He's going to do everything possible. And how do you know Trea Turner is making a difference? Is if his jersey is dirty. That's where it is. That's where the effort lies. Never saw Manny with a jersey that had a speck of dirt. There's that, and that's like just everybody's just fired up. We're jazzed. We're about to kind of heading to just looking a little bit in the future, but we're playing a Phillies team who's won 8 in a row, and that makes us excited. This is why we're like, holy shit, this is another chapter in the Dodgers history, it feels like.
This is a gut check series, I think,
Mhm.
against the Phillies. Like,
Yeah.
this is big. This is a big series.
Yes, I 100% agree. It's like, what's going to happen when you get, because they're ready to get in a dogfight. Like, they're ready to fight over a piece of raw steak with another junkyard pit bull. Yeah. All right. And now it's time for you to give the disposition of Bueller's Cy Young.
Yeah, I mean, he should be winning the Cy Young this year. But I want to go back a little bit to the Astros series. Just mention one thing before I talk about today, but it was really frustrating to see him pitch 6 innings of 1-run ball and take a loss. You know and that's fully on the offense, but that was really frustrating. I'm sure it was for him as it was for me, but even today, like, I was watching the game and I was like, man, he just doesn't look himself. Something's off. He was walking batters. But then I look at his line, 1 earned run over 6 innings, 4 hits. Okay, 4 hits is normal. 4 walks is not great. And 8 Ks is really good. So I was like sitting there and I was like, wait, why did I think he wasn't performing well? Like, this is weird. Like, if this is what I consider a bad outing, I'll take a bad outing from Beuhler every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm. And what we're looking at now, especially when Cy Young comes around, is that there's many different caveats into what makes a Cy Young. Part of it is what you do on your bad days. Are you somebody who goes 3 1/3, 6, 7 earned runs and gets absolutely blown up, or are your bad days 6 innings and 1 earned run? That's the difference.
Yeah, like, your bad days are you walk maybe 2 people more than you normally would, run or two, maybe less Ks than we're
Mm-hmm.
used to. But it's like a bad day for a guy like Tony Gonsolin and David Price is like what you said: 2 2/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I would consider. I don't even want to call this bad. This is what I would consider like a below average start for Walker Buehler, because we're not used to the walks. And like I said, 4 hits is not a lot. Like, 4 hits is a great stat, but the 4 walks is where I was like, okay, he doesn't really have it today. But if 6 innings with 4 walks but only 1 run is a bad game, uh, give that to me every night.
Mm-hmm. Well, because what also is a reason why one can consider this a bad start is he walked the opposing pitcher, Reed Deitmer, with 2 outs. That's inexcusable. He let out a big fat fuck. It's like he stubbed his toe or bit his lip. It was like the Office episode where Jim kept on biting his lip and just had to leave work. Like, it was one of those things where it is extremely frustrating for him. And if that happens to Gonsolin, it's a goddamn it. It's a difference between when a pitcher says for like, that's different. When I look at if Beuhler put up a Gonsolin like start, it would be fuck. For Gonsolin to put up a 2 2/3, 6 earned runs would be goddamn it.
Yeah, exactly. Bueller knows it too. He knows he should not have walked the pitcher there. He got out of the inning anyway, but he knows it shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he's upset about the 4 walks because he's a gamer. Like, he's a gamer. Like, that guy is. He seems like a perfectionist when he's pitching. Like, everything has to be pinpoint, or else he's gonna let out a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Dustin May. Dustin May last year with the hot mics, I feel like we picked up the most fucks from Dustin May than any player. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I see a lot of Beuhler and Dustin May, but that's a topic for when he comes back. But yeah, like you said, with Gonsolin, it's just shit, damn it. But with Beuhler, it's a fuck. Like, why did that just happen?
Mm-hmm. Beuhler is like a surgeon from the outskirts of Texas who was a linebacker in high school. Yeah, I mean, he has traits of both that are just combined into one, and that one might be a fucking Cy Young Award winner. All right, so yeah, yeah. Before touching on one of the worst parts of the Dodgers, historically abysmal, we got to talk some lineup configuration. So, how are you feeling about what Dave threw out there, and do you think it should stick? And should anything change?
I have no complaints with what Dave Roberts has put out there these last two nights with Trey in the Trey era. I Trey gets on in the first game, Muncy doubles him in. Trey gets on in the second game, Muncy singles him in. Like him putting Muncy behind Trey has resulted in a run in the first inning in two games in a row. So I cannot complain. Like with the way Trea Turner gets on base and with his speed, you have to have a guy that gets extra base hits to hit behind him, like a Muncy, like a Betts. It has to be one of those guys because as soon as he gets on first, even on first, he's a scoring threat. Like we're not used to having players like
Yeah.
that. He's one of those guys where when he's on first, he's a scoring threat. So we need to have a guy like Muncy or Betts behind him that can shoot one into the gap or shoot one down the line, and it's 1-0, two batters in. So I have no complaints. I don't know about you, but I've loved what Dave Roberts has put out.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any complaints as well. We put up 5 yesterday's game, which is below our average, but then we put up 8 today, which is about 2.5 runs above our average. The biggest thing for lineups is what have you done for me lately? That's what everything boils down to for me. Everything should be based within the last 2 weeks for the most part, not like drastic changes of if Turner starts, knock on wood he doesn't, but for JT, not Turner, Justin Turner, JT. If JT starts struggling, moving him down to 7th or 8th would be kind of dumb. Moving him down to 5th, I would be okay with. So there's like there's the big drops like that, or vice versa, moving Belli up all the way to 4th. So there's that wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, I don't think Roberts is going to do that, and it's working so far. So until this team starts putting up like have a 4 or 5 consecutive game streak where they average 3 or 4 runs per game, which would be below and kind of painful to watch, then start changing. It's good now. I like it. And these guys are so good that you could put Pollock second and that lineup will work because that's how lethal this team is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned Bellinger's name. I don't want this to go unnoticed. 2 games in a row with some home runs. Could we see, are we seeing the Cody Bellinger renaissance?
Possibly. And we got to bring up the Bob Nightengale tweet because the devil works hard, but Bob Nightengale works harder. This is incredible. This was tweeted out 3:52 p.m. on Friday. Cody Bellinger, who's hitting just 168 with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs this season, including a 267 on base percentage and 291 slugging percentage, was dropped to 8th in the order.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. What also happened today? This is now a tweet from Fabian Ardaya. Cody Bellinger parked one halfway up the right field pavilion, second dinger in 24 hours, 8-1, Dodgers bottom 7. And now it's Belly's like, holy shit, like he's hitting over 300 last 7 games during a 7-game hitting streak. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Bob.
We need to bow down to Bob Nightengale.
Do we have, I think we should make him as the OK Takes statue. Like if there is a statue, like if we had a stadium and we had somebody to put in front to represent how wonderful, like how dumb sports are, but how great they are at the same time, it's Bob Nightengale. Because it's just one man's opinion. But the fact that he's the embodiment of everything right with sports.
Yeah, I mean, one day he's falling for a fake Jeff Passan account, and the next day he is absolutely sparking Cody Bellinger back to life. Like it's incredible.
I love him so much. I say it again and again, but I love him. You know, it's like when Bronson Arroyo was singing to Walker Beuhler. He's like, "I love you." Literally verbal meme me to Bob Nightengale. I will sing him Wonderwall by Oasis.
Yes, we need that. You need to do that. Upload it to Twitter.
Oh, easy money. All right. So now we're starting to reach the end of the episode, and it's time to reveal why the Dodgers are historically abysmal, or one part of the Dodgers. They are creeping up on being the worst extra innings team in baseball history. We talk about this team being confusing. You say it, and you and I like text about it more than anything related to the Dodgers, but it's like this team makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean it's I overreacted and I texted you that this is the most talented bad team that I've ever seen. And this team is not bad. They're just confusing, infuriating, frustrating, like all those types of words I could use to describe them, but they're not bad. They're just, yeah, like they just piss me off. Like I just one night they go 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, put up 2 runs and lose by 1, and then the next night they win 8-1 with and go like 8 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And they're just really, really frustrating.
So the reason why I bring this up is that the Dodgers, after Friday night's loss to the Angels, dropped to 1-12 in the season in extra inning in games that go extras. Okay. I'm going to rattle off some stats. Thanks to Eric Steven for blogging about this. I'm taking a chart he posted from there. But the Dodgers currently sit with a 598 win percentage and are 67-45 this year. There have been 5 teams to lose 13 total games in extra innings. Those 5 teams have a combined win percentage of 385. 2 teams have lost 14 games. Their combined win percentage is 367. The 1989 Cleveland Guardians, stay woke, only team to lose 15, and they were 73-89. The 1974 New York Mets, they take the crown. They are the only team to lose 16, and they went 71-91. No, makes no sense at all. And Justin Turner, he was talking about in his presser, pretty literally said, because he was asked about it, like, how does this make any sense? You guys are so good. You guys lead the NL in runs per game, but you guys can't do anything late when the 10th inning hits. And he said, I have no idea. If you guys have anything, let me know. It's pretty weird. It's obviously not good. Bullseye.
Yeah, that is nail on the head.
Mm-hmm. Weird. I think it might just be one of those baseball things that the Dodgers nearly double all these teams win percentage, and somehow they are up there with them and might go down in history. I think they'll end up with 15. I really think they'll end up with 15.
Yeah, and I mean the thing I think about is, imagine if some of these 1-run losses or extra inning losses were flipped the other way, what our record would look like right now.
If we were just normal, if we were 500, can you imagine that? Nearly, well, there's 13, so we couldn't be 500 exactly, but we could be looking at 74 wins, which would easily put us over the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that some of those games that we lost in extras are to the Giants themselves. So it's excruciating, insidious. But this is where I think Trea Turner will help, because like we said earlier, when you have Trea Turner, he not only can score himself, obviously with the home run, but as soon as he touches first, at any minute, he could be hitting home plate, and that could be it. And imagine if he makes the last out of inning and he's on second base, all it takes is a blooper. That's the thing. There's an unlimited amount of possibility for him to get to home. That he is always lurking. The threat of him scoring is always lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. Turner could be just what we needed to right our extra innings ship. And yeah, if he's the one on second base and we don't bring him in, that's bad. Like that's really bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I would like to end the show with a Pujols shout out. If you not see today, Pujols had a moonshot. Like, this ball could have given Buzz Aldrin a fist bump.
And I mean, Pujols admired it too. Like, he stopped and admired it too.
Mm-hmm. This was one of those stop and stare. It was a car accident. It was the best version of a car wreck, where you see it happen and you can't help but look and be in rubberneck and be astonished by what just happened. This case, thankfully, it's not 15 cars on top of each other.
Yeah. It's man, to think that the Angels are paying us $30 million to have Albert Pujols come in and get clutch hits like he has, like, that's got to feel so good for Albert. Like, that had to have felt amazing.
because the TO hugs are always great to see. It's one of the best parts of games. I'm always on the lookout for an Albert hug. Now, like you could tell he's beaming with joy, not just because he's happy for himself and happy for his teammates and all that jazz. This was a fuck you to the Angels. This was a complete fuck you. And I love a fuck you. You know how people joke about fuck you money? That was a fuck you bomb. Every part of that. Albert watched his ex get fat. He watched her put on loads of weight. He watched the double chin emerge slowly when she said, "You're not good enough for me." Albert bounced back with a six pack. He looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Maybe the guy who called you fat, the guy who got inducted into I can't think of his at right now. I don't know if you know it, but maybe he can call the Angels fat for us.
Honestly, let's bring fat jokes back. Loki, thanks to him for bringing fat jokes back because I've actually been eating healthier and going to the gym. But like going back to Albert, watching somebody fail is in watching not only them fail, but you cause that failure, one of the greatest feelings he has to have. And just in general, everybody I end on bad terms with, I don't wish anything bad, but I want for them. I wish they get fat. Every single person, oh, I want them to have love handles that spill over onto their just spill over and just look like mashed potatoes. Oh yeah, I'm using all the when I said I was going to stockpile all these fat roasts, yeah, I'm going to save them. Anybody who ends on bad terms, I hope you look like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack. The greatest revenge ever is watching somebody get fat. That is not even an okay take. That is double stamp take.
Definitely. And before we end the show, I want to shout out Brusdar Graterol for striking out Ohtani last night in a huge spot. Top of the eighth, first and second, tie game, 2 outs, comes in, gets the strikeout, amps up the crowd, amps himself up. And you know what happened in the bottom half? Taylor doubles in 2 runs. Dodgers win the game. So for a guy that has not been great this year, he's allowed 6 earned runs in 11 and 2/3 innings. Maybe this could be what turns him around. I mean, so far in August, he's has not allowed a run over about 3 innings with 3 strikeouts. And he would be, if we could get him back to his 2020 form, specifically his 2020 postseason form, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, all he has to do is be better than Kevin Quackenbush, whose name literally translates to duck pubes.
Yes, please be better than duck pubes.
Yeah. All right. And then we'll end the show on, so I lied earlier. We're going to end the show on a very happy note. So the reason, and this was tweeted out by Jorge Castillo, that Brusdar Graterol pumps his chest and points to the sky is to thank God and in honor of his brother who died 5 years ago. So for anybody that has a problem with it, any of these fucking old heads like the grandpa and Simpsons yelling at the clouds that complain about him celebrating even when he's getting rocked, fuck you. Once again, 2 words, fuck you, 2 syllables, fuck you. Is he not allowed to is he really not allowed to celebrate one, even just being at the big leagues and metaphorically and I guess spiritually sharing that moment with a close relative who passed away? Is that so bad? Is that harming your life so goddamn much that it enrages you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that was the reason behind his celebration until today, and that's If anyone has any problems with that, honestly, like, I don't want to say they can go to hell, but they can go to hell.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's 2 options. The nice option: go to therapy and get a dog, adopt a dog, don't shop. Second option: just get waterboarded. Honestly, get waterboarded, and then not enough to die, so you can stay alive for the next session of the waterboarding.
Yeah, I'm behind that 100%.
All right. So way to end the show on a very happy note. Very uplifting. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 14. If you would like to follow myself on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MattWeiner20. If you would like to follow Edward on his Instagram and Twitter, find him at Edward_Vento. But who gives a flying fuck what we have to say? Make sure to follow OK Takes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at OKAY Takes Pod. That is OKAY Takes Pod, OK Takes Pod. Find us there for clips. And on TikTok, you can follow my awful gambling ticks. And if you fade them, you'll be guaranteed to make more money than I am. That is a lock. The only lock is if you do the opposite of what I do, you will make money. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and have a wonderful day.